Hello all and welcome to the channel. Today I'm bringing you an overview of Carnegie. We've got the designer just at the top there, we've got the artist below, and it's brought to us by these guys here. Now this is a 1 to 4 player game. Says it takes up to 120 minutes. I think you're looking at more like 2 to 3 hours for this one. And this is a heavy complexity game, folks. Now in this one we take on the role of entrepreneurs based off some historical facts about Carnegie himself, a benefactor. He'd made a big impact on the steel industry back in the day and one of the richest men in his time. Now you'll be running these organizations. Here we've got yellows. You actually have a physical board to develop your departments. You'll be trying to hire employees. They'll be coming out into your lobby here. You'll be using HR actions to move them around. You'll be using management actions to do construction, or not construction, but construction of new departments. You can see this one in the middle here, and depending if you've already spent or moved an employee there, will reduce the cost. So if you have, it's a cube. If you haven't, it's 2 cubes. Maybe you're going to send workers out onto the board and attain some money there of that management option. You've also got construction locations. So this one here, you can see you get an opportunity per worker there to spend 3 times $1 into a cube, and you start with some of these departments already pre-built in your organization, whereas some of these ones you can add. So this particular one, if for construction, you can take one of these employees out onto the board and you can spend a cube or 2 cubes to place some of these discs on these various project tabs and do a whole host of construction to get better links on the board, which I'll go through. And the final action you have is R&D as well. You can see at the bottom here, each employee is going to give you free R&D. So this is your organization. You're trying to do a host of things to attain victory points, and those victory points at the end of the game, you'll be getting them from employees who are standing up. You've got number of departments you've built and which row are going to score. Your project tabs on the side are going to score you points. Your links, so you can see here is the board itself, the map of the USA, and depending on how many cities you get to, so if you get from, where are we, San Francisco here, you can see the link cost, or the link is 2. So if you make yourself a link all the way across down here to say New Orleans, there's another link there, so that would be a total of 3. And you can see it reminds you at the top of the board here of the link. So if you get from here to here, you got a link of 3. A link of 3 is going to score you a number of victory points depending on how much R&D you've spent in your transportation. So if you've gone from car to this one to trains, and you can see each particular area, there's 4 areas. You've got west, midwest, east and south, and as you progress and spend R&D points, you can see the south here, your token's going to start here, you spend some R&D, and as you get further up, you move from the red location here into the orange sector, then into the green. And if you get all of your tokens in the green for all 4 departments, you can see you're potentially going to be scoring victory points in this end track. So that is how you're going to get points from connections. Equally, each city, each location you go to may have victory points on them. So you can see Los Angeles is 3, Phoenix is 1, some don't have any. And eventually you're going to score points as well for your contributions to the infrastructure of the nation. So you can see, if you go here, you're going to get 4 points for each infrastructure you've made there. Maybe you've gone here, and for each department of R&D, you're going to get 3 points, up to a maximum of 12 for each particular spot. And there's costs for donating. The first one you donate, first token you got is 5, then it's going to 10 and 15 and 20 and so on. So that is the aim of the game, to get the most victory points from your contribution as your organization to the transportation networks, the benefactory type stuff, and employees, your recruitment. And all of this is going to flow over 20 rounds, and this here is all about timing of which action. So you can see you got the 4 actions here: HR, management, construction and R&D. And the first player will place this cog on one of these events to the right. Let's just say they go for management. So you would activate first the west. So you'd look at the west if there's any workers there, and workers get put in this section here, reminds you of the iconography. You take that worker off if you want, or if you've got multiple workers, you can take them all off and maybe leave someone there for a future round. So for each worker you get, you times your bonus. So at the moment, the yellows have got to this bonus below, so they're going to get $3 for each worker they take off. And these workers go back to your lobby, and then you'll be trying to use a HR movement of some kind to move them to another department to retrain him. Some departments have costs. You can see if you send him here to turn him and retrain him and stand him up, it's going to cost $5 there, which he gets to at the end of your turn. So you have chosen the event. You've chosen West here. You then activate the actual action, so management. So yellow in this case, if they were first, would look at all their management departments. Now you can see the symbols are great in this game. This department here and here, they all have that symbol. We can activate all those. So we've got an employee here. We could either, as a demonstration, we could either spend free, we'll keep the worker there, and we could get $3 or a cube, or that symbol just here means we can send that worker out, and for doing so, we get $6 or 2 cubes. So let's just say we activate that. We take that specific employee for the department. We pick any region on the board, and you're kind of thinking, okay, which area may come up next? These are all variable. There's 8 in the box. They've got stuff on information on the other side as well. So you can see east. There's 3 easts out there, 3 souths, 2 Midwest, and these are also at the end are going to activate. So maybe we want to avoid the Midwest for now. Maybe the South is where we want to go because they're going to activate maybe sooner. So we send this work, we pop them in the South there, and we get the bonus of either $6 or 2 cubes. So we work our way through all of our management departments. We don't have to. Sometimes they don't need to be sent out. And once yellows have done that, it goes clockwise. So blue would be up next. They would work their way through their departments. Now, if you did have a worker you hadn't trained up and they're lying down, you cannot use it. Or if there's no workers there, clearly you can't use that either. And you can't hop between. You can't say, do this action here, utilize that, then go to here and do that one, and then come back. You have to do one department at a time. Go around everyone, and then you have a chance. So this reference sheet's really handy. It shows you that you've placed the cog out. You've then carried out the event, which we did. You've done your particular areas for management in this case. You then get to pay to train anyone who is lying down. So they're known as training when they are face down. So you'd pay the costs. So let's just say the blues here. You can see if this one was lying down, and this one was lying down, you'd pay $5 to train that one, and you'd pay 0 for that, no cost. Now, when they are face down, they usually are face down because they've come off the board and they are in your lobby just here. And when you have a HR action, you can see HR is all about moving. They move location, so these guys who are all about R&D will move, and as you move them, they will then be lying down because they need retraining. They're all about R&D, and now they're in construction. You're going to have to pay to train that employee up. So we then have the start and player token moves around. This token, the cog's removed, and that goes 1. So that shows we've got 19 actions remaining. The next player will place the cog out. It's their turn. Let's just say go for the management option. You activate the south, so you look at the south, and we can see here yellows are the only player with an employee. They take this off. So 1 employee times the bonus is $7. Now, equally, every time you take an employee off, not only do you get this transportation bonus, but you look at your project tabs on the side, there's 4, and for every reveal bonus, you're going to get that as well every time you reveal, you take off an employee. Now, it can only happen once. If you take 3 employees off, you're still only getting this these bonuses once on that round. So you can see they're going to get $2. Your blues, in this case, you can see they've done a bit more construction. They're going to get a cube and $2 if they took a worker off, and these workers go in the lobby. Okay, you would then undertake the action. So construction, then we've sort of shown you what management's about. Construction, we'll look at the yellows here, so they can spend 1 cube or 2 cubes. It's dependent on the department. So you've got housing cost a cube, commerce, you've got industries 2 cubes, and I think it's public infrastructure for 2. So you would build, this employer here would spend, say, 1 cube. They'd have to come out onto the board, and depending on where you take them, let's say we head to the south, we pop them there, you would take one of these tokens of your choice. So we're going to go for this one. It has to be, you know, from the right moving to the left. So we take this one, and it's a commerce building. We've placed our worker in the south, so we have to place this token somewhere in the south. We're looking for a commerce icon. Maybe we want to head to Houston, so we match that up and place that there. We're slowly building our connection, trying to potentially get all the way to San Francisco there. Now we do have another employee there, so we could potentially put them out and pay the cost, and the more cubes you construct, the more benefits you are revealing for when you return those employees. So that's construction. Another action is R&D. So you can see when we do R&D, each worker is going to get us free R&D points, and R&D can be spent on your project tab. So you can see these little orange symbols. So if we want to spend more R&D on commerce, we would pay 2, move this along, put another token on here for us to potentially bring out on another construction round. So you're developing your potential for constructing more on the board. You can equally spend that R&D on these transportation aspects. So you could spend, let's say it was blue, 3 here, this cost to move your cube here, which means you're getting better benefits. First player to get it, it's only one time only, gets that bonus, and therefore if they get 2 victory points each time they take a worker off. So that is R&D. HR then is the last action. Let's just say yellows activate HR. You can see they've only got the one department here. Each employee there, you've always got this one, which is kind of the art's already on the board. So we've got 6 movement. You can't go diagonal, and this is a good chance to move these employees that have come back to the lobby. So we can go 1, 2, keep them lying down, they need training, and we could go right 3, 4. Maybe we want to leave them here 5 because we're thinking about building a department, and if you've already got an employee there, it only costs you 1 cube. Now the departments, I'll bring them over. There's a host in the game, and you can see they have certain strengths. So you can see the top, we've got more HR, we've got more management on the second row, some construction and some R&D. So a host of goodies to bring out and make your organization more efficient. So HR is all about movement. At the end of your turn, you will get a chance to pay to train them. So here there's no cost, as we said. This one they are waiting to be constructed on in terms of the departments, so no cost to pay there. And we pass the starting player over, they move this one over and get the cog, and the next player picks where they want to go. Once all these are kind of at the end here, you can see, I'll just give you a demo. Let's say you've reached this position here and you really want to do a HR action. You can still do the action, but what happens is you place it there to say you're doing it, but the next action below it, so this one, will move across and you'd activate this area here, and on the end you get to do the area and the chance to donate as well. So you can, once all these 4 actions have hit the end, you've had your 20 rounds, you will get the victory points, as we've said, from these various locations. Most victory points is the winner, folks. What a fantastic game this one. Really gives you a good vibe of running this organization here. Which departments are you going to try and rush to add? How are you going to make use and efficient use of these employees and paying the costs to stand them up? Which action are you going to go for next? Are you going to be looking at your opponents, figuring out where their weak spots are and deciding to make the most of that and choose a HR action when no one else wants you to? Or are you going to be looking at the actual event that will take place and thinking, okay, I have a worker out in the south, I'm going to make the most of that and get whatever bonuses are there? How are you going to manipulate and make the most and construct buildings on the board to get these bonuses revealed? And as you build more connections across the board, you are getting more victory points here. But have you got enough cash flow to donate to these open ones? And you can see on the board here, when you hit these spots here, and at the very end you get a chance to donate, but it gets more expensive as well. There we are, folks. If you're after a run through, check out the video I'll be bringing you guys next week. Enjoy.